While you were sleeping last night, history was made, and it wasn't necessarily, well, it definitely wasn't the good type of history. I don't want to get into that too quickly. I want to get into it, just not, a lot going on with this legislation and so forth that's been working its way through the Senate. They wait till you go to sleep to pass this. This, by the way, Heritage Foundation reports, is the largest tax and spend bill, if I can spit it out there, in the history of the world. Listen to that. The largest tax and spend bill in the history of the world. That was passed the Senate, I should say, last night. And so there's been some shenanigans happening here. Shenanigans in the Senate, in Congress, budget reconciliation. Remember, this is a tool whereby the Senate can effectively bypass normal means for passing legislation. They can bypass the Senate rules, they can bypass the filibuster, and they can work with just a simple majority. So it's deliberately, as is usually the case, deliberately confusing because there's two bills. One of the bills is a $1.1, I think, trillion so-called infrastructure bill that Nancy Pelosi insisted was tied to another budget reconciliation bill that had all sorts of wish list items for the radical left tucked inside of it. Now we're told that this is Biden's kind of signature piece of legislation. This is Biden's. This is what he was elected to do. Right now, I just want to tell you, don't be fooled by that gibberish and nonsense. Biden was not elected to do anything. In fact, there's some out there that would say Biden wasn't elected. I'm just reporting here, Facebook and Twitter and YouTube. I'm just simply saying some people think that. Surely I should be able to say that without calling into question the integrity of the 2020 election. But Biden wasn't elected, even if you agree and believe that these states' electors should not be questioned or should not have been questioned on January 6th and all this other stuff. If you believe that there was no substantial fraud and you believe the numbers that were given, 80 million or whatever it was, Americans voting for Joseph R. Biden, if that is in fact what actually is accurate, just for the sake of discussion here, just for framing this, if that's what happened, the 80 million people that voted for Joe Biden did not vote for this. I don't remember. I follow this stuff closely. I mean, you could probably take sound bites here and there, but you could take sound bites from here and there and say that Biden wanted exactly the opposite of what was in this piece of legislation, this monstrosity. Again, two pieces of legislation. One is infrastructure, a budget reconciliation bill that comes along right after it. The infrastructure bill was bipartisan, which, by the way, what happened to bipartisanship being the most important thing in Washington, D.C.? Just a quick lesson, and I know many of you know this. Some of you may not. Some of you may be newer to the political scene, and welcome. It doesn't matter. Some folks have been doing this for their entire lives and studying these things and understand and know who the left is, know how politicians work, know how the media works. And some people are fully aware that when Republicans are in power, bipartisanship is the most important thing. If something happens without a Democrat vote, we had better examine ourselves. We had better look in the mirror at ourselves and question just how much we want to bring about healing and restoration in this country. Right? Bipartisanship is paramount. How are we going to find ways to get things done together? All voices need to be heard. Right? You don't hear, well, you hear it from certain folks, but you don't hear it from our politicians, Republican politicians, when they win elections, to say elections have consequences. That's what comes from People like Barack Obama and the Democrats. And I say, you know what? Good for them. At least they have the backbone to do what they think they were elected to do, or what they want people to believe they were elected to do, which is not at all what happened. But bipartisanship used to be important. When Democrats are in control, bipartisanship doesn't matter. In fact, I could read you headlines. And lines from articles that I've read, and I've read quite a bit on this infrastructure bill. It entertains me, to say the least, how this is framed. Democrats got to keep all 50 of their votes in the Senate, or this is in trouble. And I just want to chuckle and say, are you kidding me? If this was what Republicans were doing and they were in charge, this would be just, this would be Armageddon. The people in the United States of America would be told constantly by the likes of Jim Acosta, who's still out there trying to come up with other Republican governors to name COVID variants after. But they would be losing their ever-loving minds. This would be such a threat to our democracy. How could this nation heal after going through a very divisive election season? Now you're having bipartisan legislation, non-bipartisan legislation that's passed strictly along party lines. And see, the first piece of the legislation, the infrastructure bill, was passed with bipartisan support. The second part was passed with 0 Republican votes, and this is in the Senate again. This has to go through the House. But, this is not bipartisan. And, I fault the Republicans. Republicans go along with this nonsense, and there were, I think, 18 or 19 Republicans that voted for the infrastructure bill. Both of the senators in Indiana voted no. Kudos, Mike Braun. He's pretty principled in a lot of ways against some of this government spending and out of control nonsense. Todd Young was actually one of the folks who was trying to negotiate this thing. There were 3 Republicans who were trying to negotiate a bipartisan piece of legislation that are ending up voting no against this stuff. Well, that was the first infrastructure bill, which of course led to the second monstrosity, the largest tax and spend bill in the history, again, as Heritage Foundation has reported, in the history of the world. We just saw that pass through the Senate. History was made as I slept last night. But that's the reality. Bipartisanship does not matter when the left is in charge. It only matters when Republicans are in charge. And this legislation has tucked within it all sorts of stuff that the left conveniently doesn't have to go through and pass item by item. In fact, they don't even have to really debate this. And again, as I said here a few minutes ago, this is not what Biden campaigned on. Biden campaigned to what degree he campaigned when he got actually out of his house, when he stood on stage in front of 50 vehicles. Some of those vehicles honking their horns, undoubtedly because the driver of that vehicle fell asleep listening to Biden talk. Oh, better jump up, honey. I dozed off listening to this joker up here talking about God only knows what. But Biden wasn't out there actively arguing for any of these things. Biden was simply campaigning that he wasn't Trump. This was the campaign strategy. So Biden and the left did not have a mandate to push this stuff through, but they want you to think that they do. They want you to think. In fact, Bernie's out there leading the charge on this. Bernie Sanders. Bernie Sanders is basically the point man in the Senate on this. Let's just listen to some of the things that are tucked away, not in the infrastructure bill. That thing has its own problems. We're going to jump to the larger spending bill, this budget reconciliation plan or bill that does not include a single Republican vote. Democrats need to be held accountable for this. They know they're going to be held accountable for this. In fact, when this goes into the House, we'll see what happens. Will these that's really the only hope at this point we have of stopping this, is for a handful of moderate Democrats, to the degree that moderate Democrats exist. So to get them to not want to support this. So every single person in the House of Representatives, every person in the House is going to be up for re-election in about a year, right? In the 2022 midterm elections. And they know, so this is where we actually, it's beneficial to know human nature. It's beneficial to know that these professional politicians exist first and foremost to get themselves elected and reelected. This is where it actually benefits the people, because the heat needs to be turned up, politically speaking, on these so-called moderate Democrats. And I don't even know that there's such a thing in the House of Representatives as a moderate Democrat. What exists are Democrats who I think are all radicalized today. I mean, look at who they support and vote for and what's on their party's platform. But I think there are Democrats who represent people who their job, these representatives' job, is to hoodwink and to convince the people that voted for them that they're not radical, that they are moderate, that they are middle of the road, that they are not extreme. And here's the opportunity. So now you have this big piece of legislation. And so what we have to do is we have to communicate just how radical, expensive, and fundamentally transforming this legislation is to this great nation, the United States of America. Washington Examiner, headline here, free community college, preschool, and amnesty for millions. Senate unveils $3.5 trillion budget plan. I'm just going to read a piece of this. This was from a couple of days ago. Senate Democrats this week plan to begin debating a $3.5 trillion budget resolution that would pay for universal preschool, free community college, paid family and medical leave, and expanded Medicare benefits, as well as provide a pathway to citizenship for millions of illegal immigrants. Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer wrote to fellow Democrats early Monday to outline the budget plan, which lawmakers are likely to vote on this week after passing the $1.2 trillion bipartisan infrastructure package. That is exactly what happened last night, last night, into early this morning, whenever that vote was actually cast. The plan includes new green energy initiatives and extends the child tax credit and will be paid for with tax hikes on businesses and the wealthy. The measure would provide green cards to millions of illegal immigrants and their families who work in the nation's agriculture sector, if I can spit that out too. At its core, this is Chuck Schumer writing, this legislation is about restoring the middle class in the 21st century and giving more Americans the opportunity to get there. The heck it is. This is about fundamentally transforming the United States of America. This is about the redistribution of wealth. This is about class warfare. This is about an assault on the American way of life, the American dream. This is about conforming people, moving us towards socialist ideas and policies away from constitutional concepts. That's what this is about. Schumer continued, by making education, healthcare, childcare, and housing more affordable, we can give tens of millions of families a leg up. Are you kidding me? I want you to name for me. I was thinking about this the other day. I want you to name for me one thing the government has made more affordable. You know who makes college less affordable? It's the stinking federal government, folks. It is the federal government. They make money available. All sorts of money is available. And so because more money is available, because there are no downward pressures on the cost of college, guess what happens? Oh my goodness, it goes up. Of course it goes up. What in the world? Do they make cars more affordable? The federal government? Do they make cars more affordable? Right now, with what you're looking at across the landscape of this country, real estate prices, vehicle prices, gas prices. I mean, we literally have inflationary prices that are unlike what we've seen in quite a while. And they are continuing to go up. And this bill is not going to help them. Not going to help that. Inflation is a real thing. In fact, dangerous levels, serious levels of inflation are a very, very real thing. The purchasing power of the dollar. I mean, It's all a mess because these jokers do not know. Well, they do know what they're doing because it's not about any of that. It's about moving America fundamentally in one direction. It's rewriting, if you will, what America is at its core. It's taking that Constitution and shredding it, or taking white out to it and rewriting our foundational documents and what this nation is all about. It's building this nation upon socialist thought and not upon free market economics. It's about top-down government control, redistribution of wealth, instead of freedom and liberty for the individual to go out to succeed and fail on his or her own. The focus is on whether or not you have as much as the wealthiest, instead of realizing that we all are immensely blessed because of the growth of the economy. And yes, there will be extremes. There will be extremes and there will be billionaires, but there's also lots of millionaires. There's also lots of opportunities and things that exist in this country because of how it was established. But yet they've got people hating one another because they've got more money than them, or because their skin color is different, or because God only knows what. Got white people apologizing for their white guilt. Something you'll never hear from me apologize. If you hear me apologize, you know what it's going to be for? It's going to be for something I've done. It's going to be for something I've done, not because of something I am. Not because I'm a man, not because I'm a Christian, not because I'm a conservative, not because I'm white, I'm a parent, whatever. Not because I voted for Trump in 2020 or 2016 or whatever. It's going to be because of something that I've done specifically, which sometimes I need to apologize every once in a while. But you get the point here. That's not what the Democrats want you to apologize for something someone else did. Again, as I've said before, I think this is a truth as well. The radical left wants you to believe that everybody's responsible for everybody else. You're responsible because someone somewhere doesn't have something that they want or need, and then they go out and do something bad. That's society's fault at large. But yet, remarkably, no one is responsible for the things he or she does specifically. It's the exact opposite of the way that it should work. And so all this stuff leads to this big convoluted mess. We have a dumpster fire in the United States right now because of radical leftist policies. And we're just scratching the surface on this $3.5 trillion. And who knows what will actually be the price tag when this thing is all said and done. But the biggest tax and spending bill in the history of the world passed the Senate last night. Remarkable. And it redefines, folks, it redefines. It has tucked within it multiple issues, multiple things that we're not even debating. There is literally no debate on these things. It's just tucked away in this bill. We're told that it's Biden's signature piece of legislation. He campaigned on it. Democrats have a mandate, supposedly. There was no election fraud or anything to be concerned with there. And suddenly, we should just accept what it's about to come out of Washington, D.C. So, quick timeout. Talk a little bit after the break about hopefully some of these moderate Democrats or Democrats that represent moderate districts maybe not being able to get away with voting for this thing. We'll see. I'm not super hopeful for that, but maybe that does have a chance. But timeout is necessary. Really long in this segment. Sit tight. Back in just a minute.
Had enough of the cancel culture? Why not fight back by directly supporting the advertisers who make this program possible? Visit supportouradvertisers.com to give those who help bring this program to you the opportunity to earn your business. Find out more about businesses like Gray Brothers Cafeteria, R&R Products, and Reformation by supporting supportouradvertisers.com today.
Geothermal tax credits are back, making this the perfect time to install a new Climate Master geothermal system. Take advantage of this limited time 26% tax credit and begin cutting your heating and cooling bills immediately. Visit indianageothermal.com/info to get your free Climate Master information kit or call 317-829-1490. Visit indianageothermal.com/info or call 317-829-1490. Geothermal, it's cheaper than you think.
All right, here we go. $100 down, $200 $300.
I went to my first firearms auction a few years ago. It was hosted by TJ Freege, one of my good friends from high school, who is a champion auctioneer and one of the best in the business. In spite of objections from liberal legislators, I walked away with a .22 rifle and a few boxes of ammunition. And I had a great afternoon with my grandpa that I won't soon forget. If you've ever wondered what treasure you could find in an auction, visit FreegeAuctioneers.com and take a look at their upcoming Central Indiana auction schedule. That's Freege, F-R-E-I-J-E, auctioneers.com. Visit FreegeAuctioneers.com.
Hi, I'm TJ Freege, owner and lead auctioneer at Freege & Freege Auctions and Marketing. I invite you to come see the power of live auctions. It's fast, it's fun, it's transparent, and it's the absolute best way to ensure you get fair market value for your asset today. Get results, go auction.
Need to refresh or renovate your commercial space? Call Interior Construction Services today, providing the highest level of quality construction at a competitive price. Our service-minded team is here to deliver the detail-oriented environment you're looking to create, on time and on budget. Call us at 317-991-4660 or visit us online at interiorconstruct.com. Interior Construction Services. Progressive, productive, professional.
There is plenty to worry about these days. If you're working with Blake Hornsby at Northwestern Mutual, your retirement and financial security doesn't need to be one of them. Blake is a time-tested financial advisor with over 20 years of experience at Northwestern Mutual. For an independent review of your financial planning needs, call Blake and mention the Todd Huff Show for a free initial consultation. Call 317-215-8322 or visit BlakeHornsby.com. Invest in your peace of mind with Blake Hornsby at Northwestern Mutual. Are your health insurance premiums making you sick? There is a cure. With the Pro-Life Health Plan, your savings could be as much as 60%. The Pro-Life Health Plan allows you to enjoy the freedom of choosing any doctor, any hospital, anywhere. And their enrollment is open year-round. Just give Eric a call at 888-448-5370 or visit them online at icellhealth.com. Better coverage at a better cost.
Weddings, reunions, business, church, or family retreats, Indiana Paradise Retreat is a hidden gem located right here in central Indiana. With over 11,000 square feet, a theater, gym, sauna, hot tub, pool, stocked lakes, and even an on-site event hangar, we have just the place for your next event. Find us on Airbnb, VRBO, or just search for Indiana Paradise Retreat. We look forward to seeing you soon.
Flooded basement, failed sump pump. Water damage happens fast this time of year. For 38 years now, Hayes & Sons has been restoring water damage in Indiana homes and businesses. They'll help you navigate your insurance claim and get your life back on track. So when a water disaster strikes, tell your insurance agent you want Hayes & Sons for your restoration work. Visit hayesandsons.com/Todd for more information. Welcome back, my friends. By the way, this program, I gotta say something here. This program brought to you by my good friend Scott Veerkamp with Scott Veerkamp Real Estate. He and his team, they took great care of us. For those of you who don't know, we've recently sold our house and we are beginning the process of we're going to be traveling the country and doing what we're calling the Truth Tour. So we'll be coming to a location near you at some point around this country, and we're working on syndicating the program and just doing some speaking engagements and that sort of thing as well. But just want to say kudos to Scott and his team. Scott's a great guy. I'd even say he and I become friends and took really good care of us. And check him out if you're looking for a realtor. Look, I know everybody knows a realtor, but it's the largest purchase most people make. You better be sure that you have someone that knows what they're doing, has the experience. Scott's done this for decades now. Remind him that he's old if you do talk to him. But he's done this for decades now, and we're very pleased with him and the things that he did and how he navigated this process for us. So just wanted to mention him and just thank him for his support. And that's one of our advertisers. You can find more by visiting supportouradvertisers.com. So I said before the break that I wanted to talk a little bit about potential hope for stopping this legislation, which we've kind of gone into a little bit, not specifically what's in it. We've hit some of the high points, pathway to citizenship, free community college, free preschool, expansion of Medicare, paid family and medical leave. That's, again, just scratching the surface here. But where we stand now, this thing has passed the Senate, and again, with literally no Republican support. It is not bipartisan. It is the antithesis of a bipartisan piece of legislation. It's the sort of thing that if Trump and Republicans were in charge in Washington, D.C., we would be being told right now that this is dangerous. It is taking advantage of a very political, volatile situation. This would probably lead to escalations and riots in the streets if this sort of thing was happening. If Trump were in office, Republicans were calling the shots. Republicans would be charged or accused of trying to throw gasoline on a fire, on a political fire in this nation. But when Democrats are in charge, it's all cool. They don't need one Republican vote. They can do whatever they want. They can pack as many things into this reconciliation bill as they deem necessary, and no one has any questions about this. We just move right along. We add hundreds of billions of dollars to the debt and deficit. Nobody seems to care. Nobody seems to care. I mean, conservatives and people that comment on this, but no one in the media, no one really in government. I mean, I don't really hear a lot of people railing on this, but this is a big deal. The only hope that we have now of this thing not passing is to increase pressure on Democrats who are running for re-election in districts that maybe Trump won, or that maybe are just equally split, or maybe even slightly red districts. I'm reminded of people like Connor Lamb when he won a special election in Pennsylvania, when he pretended to be more conservative than he was. This happens a lot of times. These Democrats sound more like Republicans when they run, but then again, when they get to D.C., they vote with Nancy Pelosi. They vote with, in many instances, AOC, Rashida Tlaib, Ayanna Pressley, Ilhan Omar, Cori Bush, who's out there promoting and telling Americans to give money to a single mom who's about to be evicted with the help of CNN. Cori Bush out there doing the heart signs with her hands as she's being interviewed, telling this this person who's making up a lie how much she loves her. She's trying to keep her from losing her house. They have a GoFundMe page. Cori Bush and CNN promote it. This person's not even the mother. I mean, I don't want to get into the story, but this is the sort of stuff that we're, again, subjected to. These are the sort of people that these so-called moderate Democrats are walking arm in arm with in Washington, D.C. These are radical people. These are people who do not like America as founded. They do not like our founding principles. They do not like the Constitution or the Declaration or liberty. They like government. They like control. They like manipulating and calling the shots. They like dividing people. They like capitalizing off of that. They like taking money from one person and giving it to another and calling that charity and the right thing. That's what they like. That's what they do. And here's a chance for these so-called moderate Democrats in the House to prove that they're not quite as radicalized as their counterparts. Because if some of these vote for this legislation, they will almost certainly lose. They may be losing these elections anyway. The midterm election is typically not a good place, not a good race to be running if you are in the party that just won the presidential election from the previous election in 2020. Statistically, if you're a House Democrat, the odds of you losing your seat just went up because of what happened in 2020. You factor that with things like this. I go back in my memory bank and go back to the ACA, the Affordable Care Act, and what happened in 2009, 2010. In the 2010 midterms, Democrats got shellacked. It was the very same setup that we're looking at. The first term of a Democrat president. They had won in 2008. They got a little cocky. They went radical. They passed the Affordable Care Act. They used some questionable tactics. I mean, it's very similar to what we're dealing with here. And they paid the political consequence. In fact, in this state, there used to be a politician that was a representative named Barron Hill. Barron Hill was vanished from the scene after that, right? I mean, there's others as well. In fact, I went to that town hall. You can Google it. He stood there in front of the group at the town hall meeting. He said, "This is my town hall meeting. It's not your town hall meeting. If you don't shut up, I'm going to walk out of here. I'm going to take my ball and go home." I'm interpreting, but that's the essence of what he said. "This is my town hall meeting," is what he said to us. I remember it distinctly. Anyway, that's the hope that exists right now. So-called moderate House Democrats, will they vote for these radical concepts? I mean, we have to accept the possibility, even the strong possibility, that this thing's going to end up as the law of the land. But that's the one thing that we have in our arsenal to stop this, is to try to articulate what's in this thing, the price tag, the amount of debt that it adds, the way that it fundamentally transforms our country. Bernie Sanders is the point man. In fact, maybe I'll read from Bernie. Bernie's got an op-ed out there arguing for this thing. I'll read a little from it to give you an idea of why he's out. Of course, we know why he's promoting it, but to hear what he's saying. And let's see if these so-called moderate Democrats want to be associated with this. They will. Many of them will lose re-election if they vote for this. Again, some of them may lose anyway, but many of them are going to get defeated, and they don't want that. So there's probably discussions behind closed doors. Hey, if you lose, you can be an ambassador here. You can be working on K Street there. You could write your book about this. But still, a lot of these folks don't want to actually lose. It's not common, not super common for incumbents to lose, and that's a little bit embarrassing. So we've got human pride to deal with here. We actually have that in our favor here. We have human nature and just the nature of these folks working in our favor. Oz is highly annoyed at me because I need to take a break. And she's right. Quick timeout's necessary. Sit tight. You're listening to Conservative Not Bitter Talk. I'm your host, Todd Huff, back here in just a minute.
Had enough of the cancel culture? Why not fight back by directly supporting the advertisers who make this program possible? Visit supportouradvertisers.com to give those who help bring this program to you the opportunity to earn your business. Find out more about businesses like Ward's Apparel, Edwards Equipment, and Indiana Wooded Paradise Retreat by visiting supportouradvertisers.com today.
Has it been a while since your last eye checkup? Has your eyesight changed? At Best Insight Eye Care, they keep an eye on your vision. Their doctors use the most advanced technology and eye care products available. At Best Insight, you will find professionals who genuinely care about you and are dedicated to providing exceptional service. Mention this ad for 10% off your glasses purchase. Schedule your appointment at the Southeast Side, Indianapolis, or New Palestine locations by visiting bestinsighteyecare.com or calling 317-782-4000 to get the best insight. Fireplaces can be beautiful and even essential in heating some homes. But did you know they could be dangerous to your family if not properly maintained? Chimneys need to be cleaned and inspected annually. My family and I had Smalling Masonry inspect ours. They are friendly, informative, on time, and helped us use our wood-burning stove more efficiently.
Call Christian-owned Smalling Masonry today at 317-903-8121 and mention my name, Todd Huff, for a 15% off chimney inspection and sweep.
Are you looking to purchase waterproof flooring for your home? Did you know it's as easy as typing rnrproducts.com/Todd in your search engine for a great deal on our core tech line? Since 1971, R&R Products has provided brand name products at an affordable price to the listening area. Call 317-745-5794 or go online to rnrproducts.com/Todd. R&R Products. We make your flooring experience easy and affordable.
Stop by the Canby Smoke Shop. Our new store location at 8411 Windfall Lane in Canby has a wide selection of tobacco, hookahs, glass, vape, and vape juice. If you mention Todd's name, we'll give you 10% off on your first purchase. Until the end of August, we have a special on disposable vapes that is buy one, get one free. We look forward to serving you. That's the Canby Smoke Shop. Great pricing, great selection.
Are you looking for reliable advice on real estate investing? Then you should start listening to the Homeboys. Clint and Scott have over 40 years of real estate investing experience that they use to educate and guide their listeners. Listen and learn from their experiences to maximize your real estate investment strategy. You can find the Homeboys podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcast, or watch them on YouTube. That's the Homeboys podcast. They can show you how to get started and reach your real estate investment goals.
Hi, this is Caleb with Gluff Plumbing. Does your home need some plumbing updates? Gluff Plumbing is your solution. We specialize in updating old plumbing, everything from water heaters to well pumps, to underground leaks and everything that has to do with water entering and leaving the home, including water and sewer main excavations. We pride ourselves on old-fashioned customer service. Call Gluff Plumbing at 765-721-6789 or visit gluffplumbing.com. That's GLUFF plumbing.com. Call us today.
Were you surprised by your tax return last year? Did you get a large refund, or worse, did you have to pay more than you thought to the IRS? Or maybe you just got a new job, had a baby, or are going into retirement. Why wait for another tax surprise this year? Let Jody Dowdle with Midwest Tax Group help you project your taxes for the year to save you the stress come tax time. 317-288-5260. Jody and his team will analyze your paychecks to see if you're withholding too much or too little and help make corrections to any W-4s. If you're the sole proprietor of a business, this is a great idea for you to prepare for your tax filing. Midwest Tax Group has 4 office locations in Castleton, Greenwood, Plainfield, and their new location in Greenfield. Schedule your appointment today at 317-288-5260. And don't wait. The sooner you act, the more prepared you can be for any hidden tax surprises. That's 317-288-5260 or visit their website at mwtaxgroup.com.
Welcome back, my friends. Been texting with a buddy of mine who was there with me. I remember us being there in the crowd, this Barron Hill town hall meeting back, I think it was August. It was around this time. It was on their August recess. And these jokers came home to some infuriated constituents. And that's what's going to happen at certain, assuming people know what just happened, right? Because they're going to be told this was bipartisan and it was infrastructure. That's not what this was. In fact, that was just kind of the gateway drug here. I mean, what's bipartisan and infrastructure is literally probably less than 1% of everything. 1% of everything, which was the first piece of legislation, and it was just a fraction of the legislation because Democrats consider everything is now infrastructure, right? Remember that whole redefining of words. The left's good at this. Remember Clinton's still out there trying to figure out what the definition of is. Remember that back in the Monica Lewinsky days. But 10 years ago, 11 years ago, I guess now. Could have been 12. It could have been 2009. I think it was 2010. But it could have been 2009 when he stood up there and wagged his finger at us, Barron Hill, a so-called Blue Dog Democrat, a Southern Democrat, Reagan Democrat, supposedly. Barron Hill out there voting for the Affordable Care Act. Same thing is going to happen here. And these guys and girls in office and all the other genders, these folks have survival instincts. They don't want to lose. They don't want to lose elections. They don't want to go back and have town halls where people are going to ask them about this, about making a pathway for citizenship to illegal aliens. I mean, they don't want to, especially on a budget reconciliation bill. Is that the way to do this? Of course it's not the way to do this. There's literally no debate. There's no Republican input. This stuff isn't even part of the discourse. It's just shoved into, I mean, we always have, this is, I guess, in the background of everything, or some of these recurring political debates about abortion or, illegal immigration, or take your pick of the issue. Those things, I guess, to some degree are always in the background or going on to some extent somewhere, but it's not been part. We haven't had a focused debate on these issues. They're just going to tuck it away in here. They've got the votes. They've got the power. You're not going to do anything about it. They've got the media who's going to help give them political cover, who's going to tell you this was infrastructure, who's not going to point out that it was the largest, as Heritage Foundation has pointed out, the largest tax and spending bill in the history of the world. We made history. Made history. This is going to cause inflationary problems. This is going to cause all sorts of problems. Tucked away in the infrastructure bill is some sort of a test that's going to consider the possibility of billing American taxpayers per mile that you drive. That's Pete Buttigieg out there coming up with new ways to fund our nation's highways, because we've stolen from all these funds to give them away to someone else, some other social program. These things are all bankrupt. We're told that they're not. Social Security is totally bankrupt. It's literally, quite literally, a Ponzi scheme. Totally fine. If Social Security administrators were treated like Bernie Madoff, they'd all be in the clink right now. And Bernie Madoff, of course, recently just passed away, and I read some stories on the last days of his life. Very, very bad stuff, just bad situation. But this is where we are. I mean, we have an unmitigated disaster that has been ushered in by Biden and the radical left with the cover of the media. And Republicans aren't fighting and being as vociferous as they should be. They're really just trying to, position themselves to win in 2022. How can we take these bad political moves of the Democrats and win an election? Okay, I can accept that to some point. But we have to win this fight. This is bad and dangerous stuff that's coming out of Washington, D.C. And what are we going to do about it? Just win the next election and sit on our hands for 2 years until Democrats regain majorities and pick up right where they left off? The only politician I know that's actually tried to reverse these things is President Trump, and I'm supposed to believe that he's the spawn of Satan himself. Although I did see a piece by MSNBC that said DeSantis is actually more dangerous. Ron DeSantis is more dangerous than Trump. So they've already moved on, which is crazy to me, because I literally thought that Trump was Satan after listening to the Democrats talk about him. Now DeSantis is worse. Shows you what they're afraid of, my friends. Quick timeout's necessary, really long. I'm off schedule today. Oz is basically all but giving up hope to get me back on track, but I got to take a timeout. Sit tight, back here in just a minute.
Listen to Todd's show on your way to work, but want to hear more? Don't miss a beat. Visit toddhuffshow.com/listen to catch the program anytime, anywhere.
Our word can't be diluted, because we are taught that a promise is a commitment in which you always follow through. No ifs, ands, or buts. So every time you walk through Greg Hubler Chevrolet doors, you can count on the advice and expertise we provide you. Because when we make a promise, we keep it. Greg Hubler Chevrolet. Promise kept. Visit GregHublerChevy.com. Find new roads.
All your life, you've planned and taken care of the people you love. They always knew you had a plan. Taking care of your final wishes will give them one final gift. Buying your headstones direct through Thomas Monument saves your loved ones additional stress during a difficult time and saves money by cutting out the middleman. Call 317-244-6525 or go online to thomasmonument.com to understand why families have trusted us since 1962.
Are you concerned about your investments? Intrepid Financial has been educating, customizing, and servicing Hoosier investment portfolios since 1998. Our family-owned and operated business builds strong bonds with our clients. When you call, we answer the phone, always ready to walk you through your investment strategy. Intrepid means without fear. We want our clients to be fearless, to feel secure with their investments. Give us a call at 317-818-1776 or visit us online at intrepidfinancial.com.
This is the sound of your typical do-it-yourselfer in completely over his head.
For heating, plumbing,
and electrical done right.
Call Mr. Quick. Call Mr. Quick. Dial the number, spell the words. For on time.
Let's face it, moving is stressful. That's why Jones Movers, a family-owned business for over 40 years, is here to help. Our team is ready to help and respond quickly to your questions. We can handle local and out-of-state moves, which means we can move your items to wherever your pin drops on the map. We also offer self-storage units for furniture and items you need a place for. Go to jonesmovers.com to get things moving today, or visit our Facebook page, Jones Movers.
How would you like to get a $1,000 bonus after just 3 months on the job? Sound good? If so, Wallace Construction is ready to hire you today. They're a family-owned business with 45 years experience in asphalt, concrete, and seal coating. Call 317-422-5356 to find out more about this $1,000 bonus opportunity. That's Wallace Construction, 317-422-5356. Be sure to tell them Todd sent you.
Have you seen the price of custom cabinetry and countertops lately? If you're looking for quality, affordable remodels, call Carriage House Woodworking. Our helpful professionals will walk you through every step of the process. We're offering a free sink base with qualifying purchases. Just enter CHWEINC.com/Todd or call 317-406-3042. Call Carriage House Woodworking. You won't have to spend your kids' inheritance just to upgrade your kitchen.
Welcome back. We got another message here from a listener who says, I don't know if this is he or she. This person just writes in, I'm a listener and I remember that town hall. My daughter, he or she writes here, was one of the 2 IU students that he refused, that's Barron Hill, refused to talk to, who were literally just asking him questions for a school paper they were doing. I'm pretty sure. Well, he goes on to say here, she goes on to say that his or her daughter was on Fox News talking about that. But those things are etched into the memory of people that lived through them, people in this audience. If you were around and paying attention in 2000, we think it was 2009, 12 years ago. It was this time of year. It was during the August recess. I do remember that. 2009, 12 years ago. These things are, people were infuriated, especially when you look at the tactics and techniques that were used and the arrogance, the absolute condescending arrogance of Barron Hill that night was just mind-numbing to me. But, when you're in, I don't like to say that. These things expose character, right? And it brings to the light who we're dealing with. And so there's the possibility that when some of these folks come home, I hope they do face town halls or people that are concerned like they were back in 2009 with ACA. Got to run. Timeout's necessary. Back in just a minute.
Looking to make a conservative, not bitter fashion statement? Check out our apparel online, including brand new items at toddhuffshow.com/shop today.
Family owned since 1973, Edwards Equipment at 1375 East Main Street in Danville is ready to meet your equipment needs by selling, renting, and servicing several makes and models of lightweight residential or heavy-duty commercial equipment. We carry and service top-name brands like Ferris, Kubota, Steel, Gravely, Honda Power, Land Pride, and more. Visit edwardstractor.com or call 317-745-6427 to check out our clearance specials today. At Edwards Equipment, we don't just sell you any piece of equipment, we sell you the right piece of equipment.
Does your business have a plan for social media marketing? Are you reaching the right audiences through Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn, and the list goes on? Are you learning from the data? Jarbo can help. Our team doesn't just come in and tell you how to be successful. We help you execute and measure your sales and marketing efforts. Give us a call at 317-834-6560 or visit us online at jarbomarketing.com. That's jarbomarketing.com. Make social media work for you.
Our sense of smell stimulates memory and emotion. A scent can seemingly transport us to another place in time. Homemade, hand-poured candles and melts from spur-of-the-moment creations will give your nose the experience the rest of your body is missing during any season of the year. Crackling firewood, fresh-cut grass, Macintosh apple, and even racing fuel are some of their over 200 engaging fragrances. Visit spurofthemomentcreations.com and enter coupon code TODD at checkout to receive 15% off your order today.
Are you tired of manually opening the gate every time you pull in the drive, especially during the freezing cold, pouring rain, or hot, humid weather? Then Gatekeeper Services has your solution. They offer affordable residential and commercial motorized units for your gated properties. Veteran-owned with over 50 years' experience in motorized gate sales and repairs on any make or model, and with numerous entry control options, Gatekeeper Services takes pride being certified in both automated gate system design and operator installation. Simplify your life today by calling 317-714-4061.
Hey Indy, Sid here with Kill a Dent Removal. We specialize in a paint-free repair process known as PDR. Our certified master technicians remove dents and dings of all shapes and sizes, including hail damage, with zero body fillers, zero painting, and zero diminished value. Most repairs are completed the same day, many even while you wait. Check us out at killadentremoval.com. And remember, folks, don't paint your car, go PDR.
When life is hard for the women you care about, there is help with issues such as widowhood, anxiety, depression, or abuse. They don't have to go through it alone. Peace Restored is there to walk with women through the journey. Peace Restored helps women through free mentoring, counseling, and education. When life is hard, Peace Restored is there to help women you care about find hope and healing. To learn more, visit peacerestored.net.
Remember how hot it was last summer? I was sweating our AC bills, so we replaced our system. We took advantage of Commercial Services' 72-month special financing. We have no interest after we pay in full within 72 months. No more embarrassing sweaty t-shirts. So if you want commercial-grade service for your home, give Commercial Service a call today.
Subject to credit approval. Call Commercial Service for details at 812-339-9114 or online at commercialservice.com.
Welcome back. I guess thinking about the town hall meetings back in 2009 about the Affordable Care Act and just the way that this is squaring up, to match, possibly, I'm not suggesting it'll be the same thing, but there's a lot of similarities between 2009 and 2021. Just reminds me that, folks, we do have the power. They do fear the voter. That's why they want to often deceive you, confuse you and me. They don't want to go on record. They want to have all these double standards, and they want to hide behind things. They want to be arrogant jerks at their town halls. They don't want to face us. We still got power. We still have hope. I've got to go. SDG, hang in there. See you tomorrow. Take care.
As a listener of this program, I have no doubt that you embrace the value of hard work, honesty, and integrity. And when you have the opportunity to work with a company that fully embraces and shares these values, I'm sure you jump at it. Economy Heating, Air Conditioning, and Plumbing is just that type of company in Central Indiana. Jeff and Jod Woods have a team of professional technicians here to help tune up your furnace or install a quality new train system. And they're also here to fix those nasty plumbing problems that seem to happen at the absolute worst time. So the next time you have a plumbing, heating, or cooling need, give the good folks at Economy Heating, Air Conditioning, and Plumbing a call. Call 317-831-5279. That's 317-831-5279. Or visit economyheatingandair.com.
You're busy. At Citizens Bank, we know your time is precious. That's why we're bringing a full-service branch to Stones Crossing for all your home, commercial, and personal banking needs. Looking to open an account, get assistance from your mortgage and commercial lenders, or just make all banking transactions right from your car? We can make it easy for you. Visit our new branch at 1767 West Stones Crossing Road. Citizens Bank. More bank for your buck.
The compassion of Christ. It's living life connecting to the broken and messy world. It's not simply walking down the street and dropping a quarter in someone's bucket. It's been perverted by Satan from biblical compassion to feeling sorry for, and sympathy isn't where God wants us to live. It's connecting to broken people in our daily life. Living the compassion of Christ.